Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I think it's good morning in Denison, Iowa. We apologize this morning for not being with you at the pro-life, at the Right to Life conference in Denison. I think it's at Our Savior's.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And we're still here doing battle at the Capitol, trying to get a budget finished, and we're sorry for, and that's our excuse. We're just working on about an $8 billion budget, and you'd think that would be enough money, but it never is. So that's why we're still here yet. We hopefully will be home by tomorrow morning, or Sunday morning. But I wanted to give you a little update on the heartbeat bill, which passed the House last week. And the atmosphere has been tremendous from the start of this session. We've had pastors coming and visiting us on this issue in particular all year long, and sitting down and praying with us, and you could tell it made the difference. I think that's why this thing finally got accomplished, and it's been an adventure, but the presence of God has been present here in the Capitol all year long, and I think that's made a big difference. So.
Well, as Mark said, we're finishing up. I do believe that if you knew the items that we were working on and the direction that we're working, and most of it is leaving more money in your pockets, trying to get taxes cut, and trying to put some good freedom and liberty language in our last standing bill, I think you'd be in agreement that this is an important place to be today. So I'm sorry we couldn't miss the votes today, but it is frustrating. Noel, it did hurt when you called the other day. I did feel it a little bit when you said, well, it's a shame you couldn't be here, because after, what, has it been 5-6 years we've had to go and explain why we couldn't get anything done. The one year that we really hit a home run, we're not here in person to be able to tell you what happened. So we thought we'd take the opportunity to make a video and pretty much do a short version of our presentation as if we were standing right in front of you. So I've got my phone in my hand because I'm going to reference a few dates here, but this really goes back to last session, and I guess it was the only fair way to put it is it goes back to the election before that, the 2016 election. That is the election that gave that gave us the trifecta. The governor, the Senate, and the House were all in Republican hands. As you folks know better than almost anybody, the first plank of the Republican platform is a life plank in supporting ending abortion in Iowa. Well, I'm glad we can stand here together and report to you that we've almost done that. We couldn't quite get all the way there, but we believe we're at 97% of abortions would be outlawed under this. So I'd like to go through the history a little bit. Now, what happened, and it's, the history will explain to you a little bit how difficult and convoluted this all was to get everybody on board. If we were in front of you, I would have had something to put up on the wall so we could kind of point to it. But I'm going to read, going back to February 27th of 2017, the action started in the Senate with, I call it the baby body parts bill. If you'll remember, Planned Parenthood got caught on video talking about how they do business as normal, harvesting parts off of our little babies and then selling them for research or to hospitals or to whoever. And once they were caught, they started scrambling and started accusing the video team of lying, but I don't think that's really the case. So we put a bill out there saying in Iowa that would be absolutely forbidden. We actually passed that. Interestingly, we passed that a little less than a month later. It went through subcommittee, committee, and it was passed off the floor. 43-6, actually. So that points out how many Democrats were not going to vote against a baby body part sale bill ban. So that started, and then I hit the wrong button on my phone.
While he's looking, the fetal body parts bill actually went through Human Resources, which is the committee I chaired, and after it passed out of the full committee, reporters from Des Moines here asked that that's the most significant abortion law change in the last 25 years. How did you do that? And there's no good answer other than the Holy Spirit did that, because a lot of Democrats in that committee voted to move it out of committee, and it's just incredible. So hearts were changed.
So we sent it over to the House, the baby body parts, and it sat there. They took no action. It just sat there. But since we have a 2-year General Assembly, it was still alive. It still existed. Now, let's set the baby body parts off to the side. Remember, and this one we went and we reported, the life at conception. And I'll just hit the high points because I bet most of you were there last year. But we worked through the Judiciary Committee. Brad Zahn's the chair. I was the subcommittee chair, and we moved the life at conception bill from subcommittee, moved it up to full committee. We were 2 votes short. And that was the first time that I saw more Christians and pro-life people at the Capitol than I saw pro-abortion people.
I believe Noel Johnson was standing outside of the lobby after that was over. Actually.
I think he was. I know a lot of our pastors. My pastor was there, so I was rather excited about that. But so that almost seemed as if it was a title change. Suddenly, the atmosphere in the Capitol changed from pushing against the mountain to being on top of the mountain and pushing down. I mean, to me, that was a big day, regardless of how that bill turned out. So, if you'll remember, I'll skip ahead to toward the end of session when we were looking for a way to make life at conception go, and we had the heart-to-heart. I hope it's not considered inappropriate, but I really do refer to it as the come to Jesus talk. It was the one where we laid out all of what we wanted to do. People laid out what their concerns were. People really bared their souls behind closed doors and as private, so we don't carry that out of there. But what that did was led us to the question, if this won't work, what's the next step that would? And it turns out, and we had this discussion last year in caucus, that heartbeat solves all of these problems that apparently we can't get past this year. And those would be issues such as in vitro fertilization, the day after pill with rape or incest. And now I'm not changing. I still believe life begins at conception. But the fact is, we don't have the votes for life at conception. We did have the votes for heartbeat. So we made the decision then that we're not going to try to rehash the exact same ground. We're going to move to heartbeat and explore that and work on that language. And if I remember having some conversations with a lot of folks who were probably sitting in the room there after the conference, where people they gave me their opinion that yes, since you tried the right way to do it, now go to the next step. See if you can at least then do that. But since we started with life at conception, it was okay to go ahead and grab the next step. So we did that. Well, this year we ran the heartbeat bill out, and it's only fair to say that it's the same senators, almost the same senators, and they had already agreed to heartbeat the year before, so we ended up actually running a rather quick. We didn't change the calendar. We met all of the rules as far as how many days between subcommittee, committee, and the floor, but it didn't take long. We had 29 Republicans vote for the heartbeat bill, and then we sent it over, and there I have my calendar again. We sent it over in February, yeah, I believe,
shortly after
of this, and once again it sat. And the House Republicans said we just don't have the votes to do it.
And last night I woke up several times, and one of the arguments last year from the pro-choice side was that if a fetus was dead in the womb, that you wouldn't be allow the doctors to abort that baby, whether it was 20 weeks or wherever it was. Well, if there's no heartbeat, that's not an issue anymore, because the heartbeat bill actually eliminates that as an argument for having abortions. So, it answers questions as well as eliminates a lot of issues that there was before. That's amazing to me.
So we get to, and I believe, if you'll remember, I told you that we need to set aside the baby body parts bill that's sitting over there in the House. And now, that was in 2017. Now in 2018, in February, we sent the heartbeat bill over. Well, they started realizing that there was a growing sentiment in the Senate that we were going to need a vote on the heartbeat bill. And they have a growing section of their own caucus, the House Republicans, and that includes Steve Holt, who's serving you fantastically, who wanted a vote on that bill. They ran for this. They did not want to come home without it. And we were told that they were somewhere in the mid-40s as far as votes for the heartbeat bill. And then the House did something that I didn't expect. They pulled up the baby body parts bill, which you remember passed bipartisan in the Senate. And in committee, they attached the heartbeat bill to that. So now the bill deals with two divisions. One's the baby body parts, and one is the heartbeat. That created, I think, a pretty strong spike in emotions, because what that did was cause people who wanted to vote no to the heartbeat bill, they would also now have to vote no on banning the harvesting and sale of baby body parts. They did not want to go on record that way. So whoever made that call really probably carried a lot of weight there for us. So that went well. Then we spent, I don't know, that happened, and here, let's see here, in 18, that would have been March 15th. About March 15th they did that. So we're talking a month and a half, or almost a month and 3/4 ago. And then it sat in, and one of the former speakers of the House used to use the phrase, it percolated. It just sat there, the members, and that what he would mean by that is the members are going to talk about it in their off time at dinner. They're going to talk about it between their desks. They're going to talk about it back home at their forums.
And pastors were coming to the chamber every day, 3 or 4 of them. We commonly would get called out to greet ministers from all over our districts, and that had a great effect, I think.
So things were working, and things were working to the good, I believe. And so what finally happened then was the House brought the bill up. There's a lot of analysis as to why they brought it up now or why they brought it up at all. I don't think it's fair to say that without a House member on the video, because we weren't there. We would just be speculating, and just some of the analysis that we've heard. The fact is that they brought the bill up, and they were willing to spend 6 or 8 hours in debate. And I believe that, just as I said earlier, that the tide changed when we had more Christians and pro-life in the Capitol than pro-abortion. The tide also changed in that the House Republicans didn't sit down and simply outvote the Democrats, they outdebated them. The Democrats brought out all the old talking points that we've heard for a generation, but the House Republicans were energized, they were prepared, they had prepared and scripted their remarks, they spoke in the order that they wanted to speak in, and I believe that they made the case over the Democrats, forgetting party affiliation. They made the logical case that this is simply the right thing to do, removing politics, party, religion, but simply as a matter of right and wrong, they made the case. This is what Iowa should be doing.
You can watch that whole debate if you want to go to legis.com, iowalegis.com, and pull up the live feed, the archive feed for that night, and you could play that actually at the meeting on Saturday if you got the ability to put it up on bring your laptop along and pull up that site. Maybe we can give it to you.
So you would look in the daily archives of the House video, and there should be an archives link, and that would be May 1st, and it is Senate File 359. There's 4 links. I've already gone to them, and I've kind of gone through them myself. But you can do this at your own pleasure, or on the laptop, and project it up on the wall. So
it's interesting viewing. It's right now we have the HHS, the Health and Human Service budget, on the docket for today. There's verbiage in there that takes more money away from Planned Parenthood that is starting to be controversial for the same reasons the heartbeat bill became controversial on the other side. So we got a little work to do there yet, but God willing, we'll get it accomplished before the weekend's over. So,
and otherwise, we're looking forward as we stand here on Friday here just afternoon. We are looking forward to hearing that the governor is going to sign the heartbeat bill. I fully expect her to. I know she's going to.
It's great to talk to you this way. I hope this works out fine for you, and God bless your meeting tomorrow, and just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, everybody, for your support and for the conversation we had at the last conference. That was part of getting to where we are today. Thank you, everybody.